Hello guys, hello everyone. This is Franca from Secure with Franca. So today we'll be looking at how I passed my CompTIA A plus exam. And if you have not watched my previous video, please endeavor to watch them. It's going to be very helpful because it's very educative and it's more of life experience. How I was able to switch from just a different career to cybersecurity. So today we'll be looking at how I passed my CompTIA exam, because that was the first exam that I took. And then if you're thinking of taking A plus exam and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, just know that you are not alone, and have been there too as well. So but I will tell you absolutely what I did, and you can decide to follow the same path, or you can actually do what works for you. But I'm just going to give you a rundown of what I did and how I was able to pass the exam and my experience. Okay, it's a very funny experience, but I'm going to let you know how it was for me. Okay, so let's get into it. So before I go ahead and talk about how I passed my exam, let's see what is CompTIA exam. I believe that CompTIA A plus exam, I believe that most of us must have researched that, but I just want to bring it to our notice for those of us that haven't researched that. So the CompTIA A plus is a widely respected entry level certification. So for anyone who wants to get into IT, can do a CompTIA A plus exam. It gives you access to entry level certification. So the exam is in two parts. We have the core 1 and core 2. So for you to be able to be certified with A plus, you have to do both. Okay, meaning that even if you do one of them and you pass it and you don't do the other one, you will not be fully certified, because you're not going to get any certification for that. So you have to do the two. So it covers both hardware, software, troubleshooting, networking, security, and more. So it's like a generic, a generic, skills that has to do with everything when it comes to uh, IT, cybersecurity, broken down in such a way that even if you put effort into it, you'll be able to understand and capture what it is. Because if you do your A plus certification, it helps you to move to Network Plus, because it's going to give you some information regarding network. It also helps your Security Plus, because it also helps you break that information regarding security. It is divine. It is designed to prove you have the point into IT. Okay, so it is designed to prove you have the foundational skills. So the A plus is designed to help you have a foundational skill of the work in IT support, help desk, or technician role. Okay, for me, I wanted a solid entry point into tech, and A plus was my first step. So I needed a solid foundation. Like my previous video, I did say that the first when I came in contact with people and they introduced me to DevOps engineering, and I was to do that for 6 months, but I couldn't. It was so deep, because it encompasses um different skills, I would say. Because if you do DevOps, you can actually work in a particular tech IT skill. So it was so much, and 6 months was too small for me to be able to grasp all of those information. So I made a research and I said, okay, I need a foundational understanding. Then I took my A plus certification. So yeah, we're going to I'm going to give you ideas about my study strategy. I was able to study. So yeah, I studied. I gave myself like 3 months. It was 3 months I gave myself. 3 months to complete the the reading and go for the exam. 3 months. So, and a minimum of 1 hour a day. Trust me, when I mean 1 hour a day, that was minimal. And I cannot tell you um, how um, how many times I spend 1 hour. That is to say that I hardly spend 1 hour. I was always on the book for like 5 hours, sometimes like 3 hours. I know some people do say, oh, I gave just 1 hour, 1 hour in 30 days, which is 1 month. I was able to cover the core 1 and 2 of the CompTIA A plus. But for my case, for my case, I couldn't do it for 1 month. So I spent 3 months for the reading and all of that, and questions and answers, and also asking questions, okay, for 3 months. And sometimes I spent 5 hours, sometimes because I was working at the time doing my exam. So when I close from work, most times I continue with my reading. Sometimes I read in the following morning, sometimes I read. So trust me, I read 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 3 hours. Okay, I can't count how many times I read 1 hour, but 1 hour was what I gave myself. So if you are consistent with 1 hour and it works for you, please go with it. You don't have to spend 3 hours, 4 hours, or 5 hours. Whatever works for you, go with it. And make sure that you are not in a hurry. When I mean in a hurry, make sure that you are not putting yourself under pressure, saying, oh, I need to do this so I can make money fast, because if that's the intention, it may lead to anxiety and stress. It may make overwhelming, especially when you're done with the A plus certification and job is not forthcoming as anticipated by you. It could be so depressing. So that's just by the wayside. And also I had some resources that I use. Oh, trust me, I have resources that I use. One of my get to go resources was Professor Mercier. Sorry if I didn't pronounce the name very well. Messar, Mercier. I use that resources. I can't tell you how many times I watched the video forth and back. So I use that resources, and this video was very, very helpful. Sometimes I had to join the live broadcast with him and other people where we just do some question and answer. So I used that, and I also did practice test. I did I did show you the textbook that I use. It's Exam Cramps. I sent it on my next video, on my previous video. Please go check it. I showed you guys the textbook that I used. That textbook was almost like Professor Marcia's teaching. It was pretty straightforward. It actually helped me a lot. It was simple, easy, and straightforward. And the reason why I like the textbook is because each of this domain is captured in the textbook. So if you are looking for domain 1, the questions and everything in domain 1, you will see it under domain 1. You will not see domain 1 question in domain 5, like some other textbooks that I'm not going to make mention of right now. There's one particular textbook that I wanted to use. I'm so happy I didn't use that textbook, but I mistakenly bought that textbook in Security Plus, and I didn't like the textbook. Where domain 1 questions, you're going to see it in domain 5, because the way I was reading was that I have my questions printed out, the objective printed out, and as I read, I tick it. As I read, I tick it. As I read, I tick it, just to make sure that I didn't skip anyone. But just to make sure I didn't skip anyone, I'm going to tell you what happened. It was so funny though, but I'm going to tell you what happened. So that's what I did. I read, I tick it. So when I go back to read, to just check before I start reading again, I say, okay, let me go back to what I have read, what I have covered. I pull up the objective that I have with me, look at it. If I'm able to remember what those things that I take, if I'm able to explain it, I know I actually understood it. But if I look at those questions that I already tick, that I say, okay, I've done this and just need to reverse it, and I look at it and I can't tell what it is, I go back again. So it took me time. Every one of us will have different process, this different way we process information. Some people are really fast in processing information. Some people have to do it over and over again. For me, I have to do it not just over again, but I should be able to look at it and know what it is. Then I'll be satisfied with myself that I've been able to do that. So I showed the textbook in the previous video. Please go check it out. That was very, very helpful. And also another resources I use, I went to my app store and type in the CompTIA A plus questions and answers. Pull it up on my phone. So even if I'm going out, maybe I'm going out with someone and we're driving, I'm not the one driving, I have my phone in my hand, I'm looking at those questions and answers. If I'm going to church and someone is driving, I have my phone in my hand, I'm looking at those questions and answers. So anything I'm doing, so even if I'm going anywhere I find myself that I need to sit down and just wait for a service, the next thing you see me do is to pull up the question and answer and read. So I cut off social media, I cut off things that would distract me, and that became my social media, the question and answer. Not just for App Store, even for not just for iPhone, even for Android phone, you can also get that. And there's some of them you have to pay some amount of money, some token, for you to be able to access, the full explanation. I didn't pay anything. I didn't subscribe to any of those apps. I just used what was available to me. So another thing I want to look at is, you must know that practice makes perfect. Like I said, you have to do it over and over again. Make sure that you understand it, okay, before jumping up. Because if you're done with domain 1 and you don't understand it, and you jump to domain 2 and you find an issue in understanding it, or you think you understand it, and when you are to look at domain 1 again, it's not making sense to you. Because if domain 1 is not making sense to you, domain 2 may not still make sense, because they are all interconnected. If you're able to understand one of it, you'll be able to understand subsequent ones. So and also, let me say, you have to practice question. Like I said, they help me a lot in doing that. So, and my goal was to aim at least 85%, not because of so you just want to get 85%. It doesn't matter if you're 75%. The reason why I set that goal, it helps me to be able to know that I'm high. My intention is kind of high. My preference is high. So even if I'm dropping, I'm not going to drop to fail. I'm just going to drop a little and also still pass the exam. So, and also, okay, so that's it. I practiced, and I also got some wrong, and I did not just move forward. I made sure I understand, why did I not get this? Why? Where is this in the domain that I skip? There are some questions also. That's why it's good to go through the objective, print it out, go to CompTIA A+, go to the objective, print it out before you jump into questions and answer. Because if you go to YouTube and start with questions and answer, there are some questions that are there that's not in alignment with the domain. I think there are some changes in the domain, but we still have questions on YouTube that capture the previous, before it was updated, the previous CompTIA A+. It can be confusing when the question you're looking at on YouTube is absolutely different from what is in the objective. So it's good you go through the objective, If you're kind of person that like going straight to question and answers before reading, I will advise or I will suggest you, even if you're not reading the book, go through the objective before going to the questions and answer, and that will help you to capture, does this question actually align with the objective, so you don't waste time going through question and answer that has nothing to do with your objective, because the main goal here, apart from understanding what you're reading, is also making sure that you pass the exam. Okay, so it was to go, and do not try to memorize it, don't try to cram it, just understand the concept, because if you cram it, there's every tendency that you may forget, because this is not formula. This is not like mathematics that you have to, this is not formula. You have to understand the concept. That will help you, because they are all interrelated. So if, for example, you're switching from security, you're going to cloud, or you're going to, maybe you're going to vulnerability management and all of that, they are all interrelated, so don't memorize it, understand it. Another thing is that watch video, read, don't just rely on one method. Don't say, okay, Franca used it, Franca used Professor Marcy, I use that and I recommend that for everyone, but at the same time had other textbooks to help, because one source will not be enough. No, one source will not be enough. And also focus more on the time on the weak area. So focus your time on the weak area. Like I said previously, that when I look at the objective, as I read, I tick, because I believe I already got understanding of that. But when I go back and look at it, I'm not able to say it without opening it. I'm not able to explain what that domain is saying, what the objective is that I already take. I go back. I don't move forward and say, okay, when I'm done with all the material, I will go back. No, I'll go back, make sure that I understand the weak part. I look at it very well, then it helps me. Okay, so take break. It's very important that you take break. Do not cram before the night. I know I read the exam cram, but that's not what I mean. Take break. When you're tired, take break. I know that I got to a time that I was tired, but I was still pushing. It's not really healthy. It's not really, because it's not really healthy, because we need to be healthy to be able to sit for the exam and write. So if we are pushing ourselves beyond and above the limit so much, it could break us. So take a break. When you're tired, take a nap, drink water, walk outside, come back. It's going to help you revitalize, and it's going to make it easy for you to understand. Another thing is that you can use cards. It depends. For pots, it depends on what you want. You can use, because CompTIA exam, the ones I have done, have a lot of acronyms, so you'd be better the acronym. I know when you print out the CompTIA A+, there's a lot of acronyms at the back. Please do not cram the acronym in that objective. Those long acronyms, do not cram them, because all of those acronyms, it is not all of them that appears on CompTIA A+. Focus on the acronym of each domain, because if you look at the domain, there are acronyms to some of those objectives, some of those questions. Those ones that have acronym, that's what you should focus on. Do not go and cram those long acronyms that came with it. Okay, so focus on the acronym on the objective. Okay, focus on the acronym. So when you see any objective have an acronym, just know that in the questions, and any question that comes up regarding that topic is going to have the same acronym. So do not cram those acronyms that is printed out with it. Okay, because that's what I did, and that helped me. Because another thing also we're going to look at is, I want to also focus also, is what I struggle with. I'll tell you. Honestly, I struggle most with subnetting and performance-based question. I struggle most with subnetting and performance-based question. But uh, I had to take my time to read it, you know. And even when I did my A plus exam, it was not everything so much I knew about subnetting compared to when I did my network plus. Network plus actually gave me in-depth understanding, but that was what I struggled for, and the performance-based question, okay, and they really caught me off guard at first. It was kind of discouraging, and I was scared at the point. What helped me was watching extra YouTube. I watched extra YouTube tutorial. I actually did take I watched YouTube tutorials and actually doing the task over and over again. Eventually it stuck, so I was practicing over and over again, and also I was asking questions. You know, I came to know people who are into it and asking questions kind of helped me go through it. Also, the exam day. So, oh my God. The exam day. Oh God. Oh, my exam day. I was so nervous. I was prepared. Trust me, I was prepared, but I was extremely nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know because I did it at home, right? I didn't go to any center. I did it virtually, you know. And at first, the computer started misbehaving. And I already tested the computer. You know, you have to, when you book for it, you have to test the computer to see if your computer will be able to perform well before that day. I tested it and it worked. But on that very day, everything was like shut down, you know. I even called customer care and all of that. So exam that was supposed to start at a certain time took extra 1 hour. You know how it is. You know how it is. So I was so nervous, but I was prepared, you know, and I logged in on time because, you know, you have to log in 15 minutes too. I logged in on time. I had like 90 questions and all of that, but 90 questions, few performance-based questions. I call it few, but it was like a lot for me at that time. So I have up to like 5 or so performance questions, you know. And so I managed the time, asked question. I came back, you know, I managed the time. Some questions we had, you know, I didn't skip anyone. So even though the question we had, I couldn't get the answer, I picked the one that I think was closest to them, and I made sure that I had a little time left so I can go back to look at what I answered before. And boom, congratulations. Congratulations. So after everything, congratulations. I was like, woo, I was so happy. I was so happy. Guess what I was doing in front of the recording? I was shouting, hey, 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 I passed. I was behaving as though I was a little girl. I was screaming, I was shouting, and I believe that part was captured. And I was so happy, you know. So, yeah, so that's what happened. That's what happened. Sorry. So that's what happened, and I believe that this information is going to be very helpful. I'm going to also walk us through, tell you how I passed my network plus, security plus, even cybersecurity. I even went to school to do cybersecurity. I'm going to tell you the reason why I went to do cybersecurity in school, and I believe that's going to also help and all of that. So watch out for my next video. Please do not forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, as more video will be unfolding, and I want you not to be left aside. And my email is there as well. You can also reach out to send me email if you need any consultation, or if you need me to throw more light. You can ask questions, and trust me, I'll provide answer for you. And if there's any aspect you want me to focus on, I will do just that. Okay, thank you so much, and I have till we see again in the next video.